Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Chainlink. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. And if you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now, let's jump straight into the TA. So right now we are on the daily chart, and let me just zoom out to show you what's my setup here. So we've got two Fibonacci retracements, obviously the one here in the bottom right corner and the large one here. So the large one is set up with the swing high in May of 2021 over there, and we've got our swing low in May of 2022, which is where we bottomed for Chainlink at $5.30. We then revisited that area in June. And since then, we've been in an uptrend, right? We did see this retracement down in November, and now we're sort of trying to break out once again. So this is the daily chart. As you can see, we are coming back into the channel up pattern, which is the yellow channel here. We lost it in November, and now we're coming back into it. We're getting the bullish cross, which is a good sign, but then again, in a bear market, that really doesn't mean anything. So for now, if we see any sort of a move to the upside before we get the inflation data in December, which I think is going to be December 13th or 10th, I'm not sure, and then we're going to get the interest rate hike, which I think it's no secret that they're going to be increasing by another 75 basis points. I don't think they're going to be doing a 50 basis points increase, but that's a whole different debate. And yeah, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, because when you know where crypto is going in the long term, then you don't really need to worry about the interest rate hikes, because when they pivot, and they will, we're gonna see them start. We're gonna see them print a lot of money once again, just like they always do, and that will start driving the prices up. So that's what we're waiting for. And these interest rate hikes are great opportunities to buy into the markets, because every time we see that, the investors get scared and they start selling their crypto, which ends up with situations like these, right, where we see moves to the downside. Or this was actually the FTX dump, but for example, here in August, that was you do see these dumps after the interest rate hikes, but every single time the crypto markets are getting less sensitive about this. So every single time the markets care less and less about that stuff, and that's a good thing, right? Not to say that we're completely decoupled from the S&P 500. So when the Fed does pivot, the S&P 500 will likely see a 20% dip, and that will obviously drag the crypto markets as well. I don't know how deep that is going to be, and I don't know where the crypto market is going to be at that point. Maybe we're going to be sitting at a $30,000 Bitcoin and we drop back down to 20,000, right? You don't know what's going to happen. So you have to be ready for both outcomes, as I usually say. And what's happening over here is I did have this Elliott wave theory, right? I did have this, and we printed wave 4 high, and now we seemingly printed the wave 5 high, but it is lower than the wave 3. So for now, this is invalid. So I'm going to remove that because I was expecting potentially a move to the downside, and we could have lost our June low, because a lot of projects have started losing their 2022 June and May lows, and Chainlink didn't do that really. Chainlink has been in this sideways channel for quite a while, as you can see in this area, and we're just going sideways. And at some point, you're going to have to see a breakout, right? This 0.236 Fibonacci retracement level at $9.15. We've hit that multiple times in June, in August, in November, and the fourth time that we come up to that level, we might just see a breakout. So you have to be ready for that. So if you're holding Chainlink for the long term and you're trying to swing trade, I would be careful selling around these levels, and I would be careful swing trading in general when we are very near the bear market bottom. Now, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen next. If we see Bitcoin drop to $10,000, obviously Chainlink is going to crash with all the other altcoins in the market, and we might see even new lows for Chainlink. So you could potentially target the upward trend line of the blue channel down pattern that we were in for quite a while. As you can see, we broke out of it here, and we potentially were coming back down for a back test of support. That's what I was expecting. but we haven't seen that yet. Doesn't mean it won't come, doesn't mean it will come, but if it does, well, you're prepared for that. If you see that on your chart and you see the price chilling on this level, you're going to know that that's a good buying opportunity because, first of all, we bounced off of that level here in September, and we've held that level as resistance multiple times previously. So keep that in mind. Overall, Chainlink is very cheap at the moment. I would be dollar cost averaging as much as I possibly could at these prices. Below $6 this is a great area to dollar cost average into Chainlink because if you know that staking is coming and you know how important Chainlink is for the crypto ecosystem, then it's a no-brainer really. And we obviously have the second Fibonacci retracement here. We went all the way down to the 1.272 level. And the swing high was set in November and the swing low we had in October. So we printed the high and we went down, we lost the swing low. So potentially I said that we could end up at the 1.618 at roughly $5. That did not happen. However, we did meet our minimal target, which is the 1.272 at $5.67. We had 2 wicks below that and we've recovered since. And if you bought in at that level, you're now up 35% roughly. So that was a good trade. And we're breaking above the golden ratio, which is also good. So if we manage to do that, I would say we're seeing a good chance of us retracing all the way back up to the local high here in November. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at the daily RSI and what's going on over here. So as you can see, we did have a bounce here off of the white trend line. November 20th. So that was a good buying opportunity. That's where we bottomed out here, as you can see, November 20th at $5.65. So the RSI was a good confirmation for that because every time we have been near this white trend line, we've seen a push to the upside back in May, back in August, and same goes for November, twice actually, or three bounces in November, which is great. And then you have the yellow support trend line below, which we have retested in August and in May twice, right? And we haven't been below that since, and we haven't retested that since. So if we see a capitulation, the yellow trend line on the RSI, on the daily RSI, that's going to be a strong level for us to hold. Then you have 2 resistance trend lines above, the white trend line here that we have retested 1, 2, 3, and a fake out here in August. And the yellow trend line here, that's not really a major trend line anymore because we're sort of having a lot of fake outs above it. So if you traded in September, it was still valid, but for now, I'm going to remove that because we don't really need that many trend lines in the same vicinity. So I would take a look at the yellow trend line here and the white resistance trend line. Those are important. And that's regarding the daily chart. Potentially, if we see any sort of pumps, and the daily RSI goes above the index of 70 and we're going to be chilling in this area like this, then that's a great area to take some profits, just like we saw back in August 2020, right? And as you can see on the daily chart, we haven't really done that many times during the previous bull market. So yeah, Chainlink underperformed the last bull market in my opinion. So hopefully we're going to see Chainlink go to triple digits in 2024, and I do want to switch over to the Binance website. So taking a look at the weekly, a bit of a different setup here, obviously, and we've got our support block from $6.22 to $5.34.5. We've dipped into that box in November. That was a great buying opportunity. I've had this way before we went into November because we've dipped into that area once in July, once in June, once in May, and right now we're running into the 20 EMA as resistance. So if you are a probability guy and you don't really care for Chainlink and you've entered just for a speculation trade, then taking profits at the 20 EMA on the weekly is actually pretty smart because the last time we ran into the 20 was in October. We got rejected back down. In September, we got rejected back down. In August, we got rejected back down. So there is a good probability that we're going to get rejected back down once again, especially if Chainlink goes sideways here and does really nothing until we get the inflation data and the interest rates data, or the interest rates hike from the Fed. There's a good possibility that we're going to see a move back down here to the support block. If not, you could switch over to the daily chart, and this red trend line at $9.25 is something that we have retested multiple times. Once again, June, August, and November. So that could be a nice area for you to take some profits. From where we are right now, that's another 24% move to the upside. So great exit there. And you have the 55 weekly EMA sitting at around about $11.40, which is a major support level that we back tested in February this year and in December of 2020. So we haven't retested that level as resistance after we lost it in May. So potentially that's what's going to happen here. We're going to break out, back test that as resistance, and then come back down to test a previous key support level. So be on the lookout for that. Overall, Chainlink is a great project for accumulation at the moment, unlike, for example, Polygon, Matic, and Cosmos. Because I have those and I'm not buying those at these prices. If we see a dip, I'm going to buy into Cosmos and Polygon, but for now, Chainlink is way cheaper in terms of the price action, because Cosmos in comparison to Chainlink is sitting somewhere here. So this is where Chainlink would be if we saw it move just like Cosmos and Polygon did, but obviously that's not the case. So Chainlink has the advantage here. So you're better off buying Chainlink for long term instead of those. However, if you don't have those and you really want to buy into them, then yeah, obviously you're going to need to be buying at higher prices unless they go down, which you can never be sure of. And jumping into the weekly RSI, multiple resistance levels for you. 47.5. Oh, I apologize about that. 47.5 is one of the major resistance levels for us right now, because we've reached that in March 2022. Almost retraced there at the end of October, and right now we're just about to get rejected from that in November, December. So let's see what happens here. If we start breaking out, we see a major relief rally. We could even push through to 53 on the index, on the RSI, so keep that in mind. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about for Chainlink. As you can see, we're getting starting to get good volume here for the past couple of weeks. Obviously, we want to be seeing something like this, just like we did in June, for those major pumps to occur. The stochastic weekly is starting to move to the upside, so this is a good sign, in my opinion. This is really good because we've been in this oversold ever since January 2022, and right now we're starting to move to the upside. And the last time we had a similar situation was back in January of 2020, where we dipped into the oversold. However, we didn't stay there for a very long period of time like we did over here. So this is a good thing, and like I said, be careful swing trading because the price can pump like crazy. And that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. If I missed out anything important on the charts, please let me know down below in the comments section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to check out my Patreon, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.